Okay. So, this is what happened to me, and this is total pain. I started recording, but I didn't start recording. You know what I mean. I didn't hit the start recording button. I thought I did, but it wasn't recording, and I thought it was. It was like probably almost an hour of me reading this. I have to go back, and if I have to read it all a second time. So if I sound really bored, it's because I am. Because I'm reading a bunch of stuff that I already read. Again. Anyway, the last recording ended in a really awkward spot. I'm just going to jump right into that spot. Try to finish that. I know what happens. And it's going to be very devoid of commentary. Because I already, blown my... I don't use that expression. You know that expression you use to, say that I've already done the commentary I want to do, and it's going to be lost into history because it was never recorded. This would be very minimal. Few people will ever know what I said. There'll be me and one other person, potentially, who will know what I said, and no one else will know. Here we go. So, just to say before going into this, it's going to be a little bit wordier about this than the original game is. That's all I really have to say. I'm going to find it wordy, and that's it. You traveled back in time, didn't you?
ということは、同じ出来事を経験したことがあるんでしょ？
That means you've experienced the same thing before, right?
だったら、これから私が何をするのか知ってるはずなんじゃないかしら。
In that case, you should know what I'm going to do from now on. You don't believe in time travel, do you? Says the kid.
それとこれとは話が別。
That's a different story. That's correct, by the way.
当ててみて。
I already read this, so I know that's correct. Try to guess. She repeated herself. Are you going to do something?
多分。
Probably. What are you going to do?
だから、当ててみてって言ってるでしょ？
I told you to try to guess, didn't I?
わからないの？
Do you not understand? I don't understand.
そういう時は、どうすればいいんだっけ？
Or, do you know? I don't know, either way. What should I do at a time like this? Question. Rhetorical.
もう一つの目を使うのよ。
Still two eyes. Totsu is second, right? Yeah, use the second eye. Or use your... We can say use your other eye. It's not really the second eye, right? Because it's like the eye beyond the eyes you already have. No, hitotsu is one, right? Futatsu is two. So it's actually, so it's not the second eye, it would be the lone eye. And the translators are saying use the other eye. The other eye. You mean the third point of view?
そう。
Right, or correct.
第三の目が開眼すると、真の知恵が湧き、万物を見通すことができる。
When the third eye is opened, true wisdom can be... this one doesn't translate well, the machine translator. When the third eye is opened, true wisdom arises and one can see through all things. But how?
教えてほしい？
Scatter? It's, do you want me to show you, right? Why is this not cooperating with me this time? Yeah, do you want me to do it? The third eye. And yeah, the kid brings up all these unreasonable expectations about what's going to happen. If I get that, then my lost memories.
まず、一つ目の目はどこにあるか知ってる？
First, do you know where the first eye is? I cock my head.
ここよ。
Well, it just means here. Saying that, you brought the tip of her finger to my right eye. I closed my right eye. You gently touches my eyelids. My
じ
eyelid.
ゃあ、二つ目の目は
Well then, what about the second eye?
ここ。
Here. Without giving me a chance to answer, you pressed down on my left eye.
最後に第三の目。
Last but not least, the third eye.
見えるもの、見えないもの、広がりを持つ世界、真羅万象。あらゆるすべては見えない紐でつながっているってレムリアでは言われているの。
In Lemuria, it says that everything we see, in Lemuria, it is said that the visible and the invisible, the vast world, the universe, everything is connected by invisible strings. Right? And what I was saying before is, they made this wordier. These lines I don't believe are in the original game. I could be wrong. I could misremember, but I don't believe they are. And that makes sense because it's trying to tie into the conversation Takeshi had with Sora about string theory, which of course was also not in the original game, which makes this whole scene longer and wordier generally.
それは幾重にも分かれ、途切れてもすべては見えない紐で紡がれていく。
It's broken up even if it is broke up several times and cut into pieces, it is all woven by invisible cords.
だから第三の目はつながった時に
That's why there's a thing. That's why when the third eye connects,
覚醒するのかも。
maybe I'll wake up. Or it'll wake up. And the kid's expecting some miraculous, like, revelation. And gets this instead. I feel something soft on my lips. Or on my mouth, one or the other. I open my eyes in surprise. You and I are connected, and this is wordy as well. My mind is turning white. I couldn't think of anything. The third point of view? True wisdom can see through all things? That's a lie. I'm getting more and more confused. But even that confusion is blown away. Before I knew it, the scene in front of me and the sensation of her soft skin. I could only feel a sweet, intoxicating smell seeping into my brain. Yes, I had to read all this twice out loud. That third eye conveyed our warmth, our love, and what we couldn't see. The night was white. Okay, Go Translate does a better job with this one. The night was white, silently, slowly passing away into the darkness, new memories being engraved into it. Okay, hopefully I won't have to read that a third time. Now, I went further than that, right? That's not conclusive, it's just that's the part that you don't want to read twice. Okay. So I have to do the comments here that I was going to make. My V7 of the Segoy my Segoy toolkit, the visual novel translator, is starting to act all funny, right? The first time I boot it, it doesn't work. I always have to close it and do it a second time. It always works on the second time, but it's strange that I always have to start it up twice to get it to work. As you may recall, version 10 didn't work. Version 11 is out now. Although I probably won't mess with it until a month from now. Not that what a month from now means, it doesn't really matter much because recording time and publishing time are completely different. So I'm going to look at this because I haven't in a while. I also have a Luna Hook. It's just that I haven't tried using it because I just, at the time, just right now I'm not that really interested in experimenting with new translation tools. So it'll be a while before I mess around with Luna Hook. Okay, so going through the new ones here, we've got this, and there's multiple versions, right? And we have this, and there's multiple versions of that as well. We're missing this one here, which probably comes from the Sara route. We have this, the party drawing on the U side is actually like another place in the gallery. It's not a variation on the party scene from the Takeshi side. So, it's not a... it's not like another one in this slot. However, they completely reused Sora, Yu's, Tsugumi, and Coco's poses. They just drew Sara's pose over Coco, it looks like. Yeah, she's posed exactly the same. Or very close to it. Maybe her elbow's outside the frame. Oh yeah, the elbow location is different. Her right elbow is different. Okay. We have this thing. We've got this. And we got this. Okay. So going to the kids' side stuff, we have a big row of things here, and I presume this row 4 is ones from the Tsugumi route. I know of at least three that are going to be. One is her shouting out the porthole. One of them being her inside the sub. Not the whale sub, the backup sub. One would be the titles, like her primary CG, her masterpiece CG. You know which one I'm talking about. The fourth one, I'm not sure what it would be. Not clear on that one. And then this is from the kid's side. This happens regardless of route, right? This happens regardless of route, regardless of route, regardless of route. Regardless of route, probably. You probably still fix the generator with you, even if you go exploring Dritte stock with Sara in the generator fixing scene. Missing, which would probably be Sara looking at the scar on the kid's hand, as what I guess that CG would have been. Probably regardless of route, probably only you route. There might be, I don't know if there's something analogous though for Sara. I don't think there is. This would be probably Sara swimming stuff, more Sara specific stuff, like her eating the ketchup on the, and her getting drowned. That's going to show up a lot here. Her eating the ketchup on the lettuce. There's two CGs that are associated with her being drowned. The one where she's pointing a gun at Tsugumi is probably in here, and so on. The one where she's swimming, where she's like kicking her feet, is in here, probably in here as well. That'd also be Sara specific. Late Sara, this is where she's sitting on something, looking at the pendant, and this would be all the U stuff. This is probably like Sara specific stuff, so any more CGs might show up here. Okay. And then there's an 8th page and a 9th page. Which I don't know how you get 3 more pages out of this. I mean, there's more that are Coco route specific and CGs, but I don't know how you get me that many pages from those. Okay. I'm going to continue to read things I've already read. Now we're going to go to the lobby. No, we have to have Sara walk in on us. We got to find the password, Sara walk in on us, then go type the password in, and that's where I was. And I don't have my OCR up. There we go. After that, we held hands and went outside. An invisible string wrapped around my hand and used, and it felt like I couldn't let go. It's kind of like an arm wrestling strap. You strap in to walk holding hands. Can't bail out. Suddenly, my eyes go to the monument standing near the entrance.
それは海底で発掘されたレムリアの碑文よ。
It's the Lemurian epitaph excavated at the bottom of the sea. Or from the bottom of the sea. What does it say?
碑文には海底に沈むレムリア滅亡の様子が記録されているとか言われているわ。
It says that the epitaph records the demise of Lemuria as it sinks to the bottom of the sea.
その碑文があったからレムリア人には未来を見通せる力があったっていう仮説が生まれたのよ。
And I believe you actually read it in the Takeshi side. It's just hard to remember. But I believe you do. Because of that epitaph, there was a legend that the Lemurians could see the future.
だから第三視点の記念碑かもしれないわね。
Or they could have just written it as they were sinking. Which is why it might be a memorial to the three-point perspective.
そういえばレムリア遺跡や第三視点のことはお母さんの論文を読んで知っているけど。
Come to think of it, I know about the Lemurian ruins and the third eye from my mother's thesis.
現物とかに触れる機会って全然なかったのよね。
You've never had a chance to touch the real thing, have you? And isn't this your part-time job? Oh. Even though you have a part-time job here?
ここにあるのはレプリカよ。あんまりレプリカとかコピーしたものって興味が湧かないのよね。
Might be better translated to you, as in you talking about herself and never had a chance to touch the real thing. There's a replica here. I'm not really interested in replicas or copies. I tried bringing my face close to the monument. I don't get it at all.
そりゃそうでしょう。
Well, of course it is. Or of course that is so.
こっちのパネルに現在解読して分かってることが書いてあるみたいよ。
It's like you're not expected to understand that, of all things. Looks like there's something on the panel that's currently deciphered and understood. And the first time I did this, the offline translator said it was part of it was deciphered. There was indeed a white plastic panel next to the monument. Let's see. And this is where things just get really weird. So if you do put the kanji in individually, it's something like I'm trying to remember how this works. Yeah, it's sea moon, possessive, empty or meaningless or something like that nature, sky, chaotic sky, ni, so it's like going to that. The next part, cool fall, I think, she, whatever that particle is, time bird. Something like that. It's really hard to figure out. And then there's like the North Stars or the Big Dipper or something. Su. I really have a hard time with that. What is that one? Yeah, C. Okay, C. And then it's tells of the past. Is the last bit. It's really so something like the sea moons, chaotic emptiness or empty sky, ni, cool autumn, she, time bird, Big Dipper and Northern Stars, Su, the sea, tells of the past. I have no idea how to make heads or tails out of any of that. Google Translate likes to translate the sea moon as jellyfish, which may make sense, but I don't know how that fits into this. Anyway, that's the second password. That's the main point. Even if you don't know what that is, that's the point of it. Haiku or a tonka? I wonder why it's so Japanese. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? It should be Lemurian.
あれ？私が知ってたことと違うわね。海に浮かぶ楽園王国、小野が罪により深き海に沈み希望を残すみたいなことが書かれていると思ったんだけど。
And of course, it's Japanese because it's not the real translation of the inscription. It's something superimposed there as a hint. Huh? That's not what I knew. I thought it was something like a kingdom of paradise floating on the sea sinks deep into the sea because of its sins, leaving behind only hope. And then he tries to, the kid's like saying the password again, which again is really weird. But that's just the password again. This is, I think I've seen it before. I think I've heard it before. Or something like it, at least. And then he says some things that are like readings of kanji. I don't know how he's getting the right readings for these, so he's like pronouncing out either this or the previous password, I forget which. So it pronounces out Umitsuki no Koku ni Suzushi Hototo Gis.
海月の虚空に涼しほとどきす
And then you says the same thing. Doesn't really have a translation. Like if you OCR that and try to translate it, it just gives you the same thing out as it goes in. It's the password.
パスワードよ
Password explanation point. We both pointed at each other's faces and shouted at the same time.
やったやったわ
Yeah, we did it. Did it. Did it. Isn't really a subject. Just did it. You hugged me. I instinctively wrapped my arms around you's back. That's great, you.
ありがとう少年あなたのおかげだわ
Okay, so that's thank you, kid, and then there's more stuff. It's all thanks to you. You,
少年
kid. You's face followed mine. You tried to kiss me again. That's when.
あ
Sarah passed by, wondering what kind of coincidence it was. By some coincidence, Sarah happened to be passing by. Or not a coincidence. Eh?
これは拙者としたことが失礼したでござる
Oh, well. Oh, and this doesn't get translated well, but it's oh. I have to redo that wrong kanji for correct, because I forgot what the correct thing is. It's hard to get it just the right amount of... Pick up, there we go. Oh my, what have I done? Excuse me.
いやーそれにしても吊り橋効果ってやつでしたっけナッキュ先輩とデートしかもキスってなんて
But still, I think it's called the suspension bridge effect. You are on a date with Nakyu-senpai, and you're, kissing.
誤解よこれはキスじゃないしデートでもないの
It's a misunderstanding. This isn't a kiss, and it's not a date.
リフレッシュそうリフレッシュなのよ
Yeah, it's... She keeps saying refresh over and over again. Refresh. Yeah, I see. It's, refreshing.
あそうだったんですかふーん
Oh, really? Sarah looked at us in turn.
だから違うってば
Like I said, it's not, it's not...
でも先輩顔が真っ赤ですよ
But, senpai, your face is bright red. Sarah doesn't seem to agree with Yu's desperate denial.
でもこれで安心したわ。少年、ナッキュ先輩のこと頼んだわよ。
But now I'm relieved, kid. Take care of Naki-senpai. So I don't have to, right? Eh?
だから違う。
I told you it's not like that.
それじゃあお邪魔みたいなので私はさっさと退散しますね。ごめん。
Well, then it looks like I'll be out of the way. It looks like I'm in the way, so I'll get out of here. Sorry.
もうまあよ。
It's like, still, Mayo.
最後にナッキュ先輩の顔が見られてよかったです。
Oh, I'm glad I got to see your face at the end. With that, Sara ran off somewhere and disappeared. After that, we headed to the control room with somewhat awkward atmosphere.
とにかくパスワードよ。
Anyway, the password. You're right. And then I went to the control room, suppressed my impatience, and used the ID card to boot up the terminal. Or you did. Either one of us did. Typing noises. The password input screen appears on the monitor.
まずは海月の虚空に涼しおとときすっと。
So, sounding out the first password, which is Mazuwa Umiyuki no Koku ni Suzushi Hototo Gis. Hit the enter key. And then the password input screen disappears. Then a new password input screen appears.
さーて行きますか。北斗残す海、過ぎし時にずっと。
Now then, shall we go? But what about the rest of it? What? Oh, okay, yeah, this is just the other password. Okay. The other password was shall we go? And then it's the second password. Hokuto no kusumi sugishi toki ni ooze. Hits the enter key. You press the enter key. And let go of the key, of the enter key. At the next moment, the password input screen disappeared. Various folders appear on the screen. Yay. Success. You and I stare at each other and we both took each other's hands in joy. But the number of folders is amazing.
多分ほとんどがお母さんが今研究していることの情報だと思うけど。
I think most of it is information about what mom's researching right now.
きっとプライベートなことに触れたファイルもあるはずよ。少なくとも本名はわかるかも。
I'm sure there are files that touch on private matters. At least I might know her real name. And this is why I said that I don't think that the you are interacting with right now has actually, in this version of the game yet, said her full name. So we don't know what her name is yet.
だけど太陽に月に手は届くかしら。
Of course, she doesn't know what her mom's name is, of course, but we know what it is. If we were to be able to identify that as her mom, as the person who claims to be her mom, which I can because I've played Ever17 before. I'm sure there are files that touch on private matters. Okay, that didn't take. Sorry. But I wonder if I can reach the sun and the moon. I'm sure you'll reach them because you've come this close. Yes, my feelings will reach you no matter what. The kid's thinking about other things. Or your feelings will reach them for sure, one or the other.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
それじゃあまずこのファイルを開いてみるわよ。
Well then, I'll open this file first.
何々？レムリア遺跡発掘調査？
Okay, so there's a big list of file names, and they're all like weird and nonsensical and difficult to translate. But here we go. What is this? An excavation of the Lemurian ruins?
パワースポットと磁場の関係？
Power spots and magnetic fields.
次は第三視点超能力。これかしら。名前は八神武史。違うわね。
Oh, this is just a mess. Okay, I've never been able to get this particular kanji to work before. Get the right one, so I'm not even going to bother with this. It's something about the third eye and that, but I can't figure out what that is. And then his name is Yagami Gakushi is correct. You know what I forgot to do? So in the second password, if you actually, there's a way to read one of the sets of kanji next to each other buried within that password, and that is Hokuto. But I forgot to do that the second time and get that reading out. It's really disappointing to me. You know, you can read Hokuto in it if you read it differently than how the characters are reading it. But I didn't have a chance to demonstrate. I'd have to go back and do it. Oh well. Maybe I will eventually. Again, if I get back there at some other time. Which I probably
参考
won't.
書類データ。暗号番号7470レインボー？フィラデルフィア実験？物質透明化実験資料？ DE173 エルトリッチ？
These are not integer multiples of 17, by the way. Reference document data cipher number 7470 Rainbow. Philadelphia experiment. Material invisibility. Experimental invisible materials. DE173 Eldridge.
さらにモントークプロジェクト？モントークボーイ？火星のピラミッドってやめてよね、本当。
Furthermore, the Montauk project, Montauk Boy, Martian Pyramid. Wait, stop it, really?
まったく、あの人ここで何やっているんだろう。
Honestly, what is she doing here? Hey, what is the Philadelphia experiments, the Montauk Project, and the Blink-Winkle Project? Oh, what is this Blink-Winkle Project? I couldn't help but ask her a question when I sensed Yu's interest in... What? Interested in the words that Yu was spilling out, I couldn't help but ask questions. Answer would probably be, I don't know.
ブリックビンケルプロジェクトは知らないけど、フィラデルフィア実験とかモントークプロジェクトって有名なヨタ話よ。
I don't know about the Blink-Winkle Project, but it's a famous Yota story about... But there is a famous story about the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project. But the Philadelphia experiment and Montauk projects are famous hoaxes. Okay. You answered as she continued her work. What's a hoax?
そう、とびっきりオカルトな部類のね。
That's right, it's an extremely occult category. What kind of story is that?
フィラデルフィア実験ってのは第二次大戦中アメリカのフィラデルフィアで行われた物質透明化実験よ。
By the way, this is getting into new material that I have not read before, finally. The Philadelphia experiment was an amaterial invisibility experiment conducted in Philadelphia, United States, during World War II. Materialization experiment. Is that how it goes? Matter revealing experiment. Yeah, what's this all about?
アインシュタインの未完成な統一場理論を応用して強力な磁場を作り、駆逐艦を外から見えなくする実験。
An experiment that uses Einstein's unfinished unified field theory to create a powerful magnetic field and render destroyers invisible from the outside. I don't know how that would deflect all the photons, but okay. It is true that Einstein really wanted to combine classical electromagnetics and general relativity into one theory. I mean, you theoretically couldn't just by adding the Lagrangians together. We wanted to do it in like an elegant way. And he never managed to do that. He didn't manage to do anything more sophisticated than what we already have. I mean, general relativity and electromagnetics, they don't really disagree. You can do electromagnetics in curved spacetime. And that's just it, right? What gets messy is when you try to consider things like, well, I don't know if it's messy, we don't know how to mathematically model it. And we don't know how to make an experiment that would give us clues as to how to mathematically model it, because we can't really observe it. It's stuff like, what is the gravity due to a photon type issue? Because we can describe gravity due to electromagnetic radiation in the classical limit, where like the graininess of the photons making up the electromagnetic radiation doesn't matter. We can write out a stress energy tensor for electromagnetic radiation. It's the F alpha beta F high. Okay. It's hard to code it out because you have high indices and low indices. You have Einstein's summation notation. It can't really say that into a mic. I have to write it out, but I have it memorized. I know what it is. we can write out the stress energy for electromagnetics, the Maxwell stress tensor in the lower 3x3, and then we just have the energy density in the upper corner, and then the remaining 6 elements are just the Poynting vector, which should be the momentum density. We can do that, and then we can that can describe the bending of space-time due to electromagnetic radiation. But I don't know of any experiments where we've measured that in a direct way. You could argue that because, as far as we know, gravitational mass is proportional to inertial mass. I like to say it like that. You could say equal, but like there's like what G was G, right? There's random arbitrary scaling, so I don't know how to call it equal. But something that has twice as much inertial mass, has twice as hard to accelerate, will also have a twice as big bending of the space-time. And because maybe between different objects you have different allocations of their mass between different particles that make them up, then you'd have every kind of source of energy within produces gravity in proportion to its inertial mass. And some of that is electromagnetic radiation, and therefore you would assume that indeed you can bend space-time using electromagnetic radiation, even though it would be really hard to measure that experimentally. Anyway, but if you try to quantize that field, try to make it as a superposition of a bunch of photons, it gets really unclear how to model the gravity due to that. Einstein's field equations don't quantize well. So what am I saying in the end? Einstein couldn't combine classical electromagnetics and gravity in the way he wanted to, but I don't think it really matters. It doesn't really hurt nothing, right? We could still do electromagnetics and gravity together. It's when we go quantum, then things get not good. And then you get string theory and people trying to model. You get blah, 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 right? That's why we can't see the destroyers anymore?
見えなくなったというか、その場から本当に消えてしまったの。
They disappeared from sight, or rather, they disappeared from the scene. I don't get what they're referring to, but okay. Are they really gone?
消えたというより、なんと次元の壁を越えてテレポーテーションしちゃったのよ。
They didn't just disappear, they teleported across a dimensional wall. Teleportation across dimensions. Directpotation. Yeah, a dimensional wall. I guess I'll go with that.
そしてその駆逐艦に乗っていた乗組員は異次元を通過した影響からか異常現象に見舞われた。
And the crew aboard those destroyers suffered an abnormal phenomenon, perhaps due to the effects of passing through another dimension. What kind of abnormal phenomenon did they encounter?
突然人体発火が起こったり、壁抜けしたり、突然この世から消え去ったりしたわ。
Human bodies suddenly ignited. What? Suddenly, their bodies started combusting, walked through walls, or simply vanished from this world. So they just died? Is that what you're saying? Really?
そんなわけないでしょ。
Of course not.
本当のフィラデルフィア実験っていうのは磁気に反応する水雷から船体を守るための実験で、船体から磁場を除去する実験だったっていうわ。
They say that the Philadelphia experiment was an experiment to protect the hull from a magnetic response responsive torpedoes and remove magnetic fields from the hull.
だからヨタ話なの。
And that's all it was. That's why it's a joke. But didn't you say before that the phenomenon of disappearing into a fourth dimension, a rift in another dimension, wasn't it the Bermuda Triangle? Isn't that why things like that happen?
私は4次元や異次元の裂け目に消える現象が起こったなんて言ってないでしょ。あの時はメタンハイドレードで思いついたことを言っただけよ。
I didn't say anything about the phenomenon of disappearing into a fourth dimension or a rift in another dimension, did I? At the time, I was just saying what came to mind when I think of methane hydrate.
それにあの時はメタンガスの仕業って言ったけど、船や飛行機が消失した時って大概は悪天候の時に起きてるの。だからほとんどは遭難なのよ。
Methane hydride. Besides, they said it was the work of methane metangus back then, but most of the time when ships and planes disappear, it happened in bad weather. That's why most of them were stranded. Yeah, at the time I said it was the work of methane gas, but most of the time the ships and the planes disappeared because it was bad weather, so most of them were lost at sea. I see.
続いてモントークプロジェクトっていうのはね、フィラデルフィア実験の続編で、フィラデルフィア実験のさらに上を行くヨタ話よ。
Let's see, the Montauk Project is a sequel to the Philadelphia experiment and is a story even better than the Philadelphia experiment. It goes even higher? I guess what that says. Goes even higher?
そうよ。テレポーテーション以外にも魂の移植や死者の復活、さらに火星のピラミッド、果ては。
That's right. Aside from teleportation, there's also the transplant of souls, the resurrection of the dead, and the pyramid of Mars, and finally, Haicho. Haicho was the thing, just and finally.
さすがに喉が渇いてきたわね。
I'm getting thirsty, am I not? Do you want me to make coffee?
できれば違うのが飲みたいわね。さすがにコーヒーは飲みすぎたから。
If possible, I'd like to drink something different because I drank too much coffee. Okay, then I'll go buy something. Now, okay, since we're changing the subject, I'll go back and do what I forgot to do. Now, I'm wondering if, like, the skip mode works here.
その碑文が。
No, it's not working. Okay.
そりゃそうでしょう。あ、こっちのパネルに現在解読して分かってることが書いてあるみたいよ。
Okay, the kid reads that. I'm going to put this into the translator. Now it looks like a bunch of gibberish. I'm going to see, grab we're gonna paste it in first. This bit. No, just this bit. Yeah, Google Translate says it's pronounced Hokuto. Yeah, it says Baido in the offline translator, but Google Translate says Hokuto for those two kanji together. Hokuto. I don't know if that really matters or means anything. Okay, back to what I was doing. What really worries me is that the skip isn't working how I think it should. So when I try to do other routes where I've already read most of the material and it's just like trying to do the SAR route where you've already done the U route, right? Where there's a bunch of overlap, skipping it might be tricky because it seems to be a bug in the skip. We'll get there when we get there, though. Okay, then I'll just buy whatever I want.
お願い。
Please. You check the files one by one with no response. Wonder who we're going to end up talking to here. I mean, it could be we follow up with Sara. You'd think the reason why I said is if the plot diverts me off to go do some errand, it's all you expect. It's trying to pay that off. There's a reason why, and you would suspect that reason would be to have some conversation. Because that's really the only thing this game can do is make conversations between characters. I ran because I wanted to deliver the drink to you as soon as possible. I'm all smitten. This is the only thing I can do right now, but I want to do something for you. I bought some fresh drinking water. Just water? Okay. Sometimes that works. When I leave the room, I spot a light emitting diode clock embedded near the entrance. Not LCD, LED. And it's a minute till midnight. 23 hours, 59 minutes. It's just about time for today to end. And then the date changed.
だからもうすぐ魔法使いが現れて私に魔法をかけてくれるのよ。
Oh, she's gonna turn into a pumpkin? And that's why the wizard will appear soon and cast magic on me.
12時に切れちゃう魔法だけど。
It's a spell that runs out at midnight, but... oh dear. At that moment, for some reason, used words came to mind. "31 hours until collapse, I guess? That's a long time. The 6th day. Here we go, day 6. I carried the soft drinks to the control room. That's when... figure out what this diversion is all about the whole time. Okay, I gotta, like, stop with this super low dipping capture window because it's messing the OCR up. Okay. I'm struck by a sensation that's similar to radiant electricity, which has been happening frequently lately. And what premonition would you see? My legs rattle and I instinctively put my hand on the wall. The cans and bottles that I were holding fell to the floor. Oh crap, I have to pick them up. This floor has like a grate with big holes. They fall through the floor. I stooped down and I was about to pick up my bottles when for some reason I heard a faint song. Oh, there's coming from. Yeah, okay, so it's Sarah singing it. Let's see if I can backlog grab the song lyrics. Because I thought I was just going to continue. That's why I wait. I didn't put them in right away. I was waiting for more to appear on the screen. The moon spirit carrying the longbow. The longbow. Right, okay. That's how I remember it being. It's the song. But in the original game, you don't hear that song in the U route at all. You don't hear that song at all until you try to do the Sara route. And it comes up again, of course, in the Coco route. But you can't do the Coco route until you've done the Sara route. I stood up and listened carefully. I've been waiting longer than in a dream. Interesting. Google Translate says, I've been waiting since my dreams. This song, Kono Utawa. I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. Before I knew it, I was running as if drawn to that voice. And he left the drinks on the floor. Sleep warm and round, I guess. Okay, sleep in mother's arms? Yes. The song was leaking out from the maintenance room. I entered the maintenance room as if lured by her singing voice. Oh, is he gonna drag Sara somewhere? Looking up, I see that girl on top of the whale. Oh, I see how they're doing this. Okay. So the maintenance room gonna flood? The girl was looking up into space, singing in a whisper in a voice that sounded like we were meeting. The girl looked up into the air and sang in a whisper, a voice that sounded like she was listening to something. My feet stop. I thought that if I kept going, the girl would disappear like an illusion.
魔界掲げし水のせい
The water spirit holding up the paddle.
夢の中より待ち降りぬ
Okay, same line here. Google Translate says, I've been waiting since my dreams.
今宵鳥船渦巻き方に
Google Translate says, tonight's bird ship. The whirlwind demon. Or Oni.
早く今夏と待ち降りぬ
Can't wait for you to come soon.
眠りたもゆるゆるゆられ
Sleeping and then swaying.
眠りたも海に抱かれて
Or should it be sleeping in mother's arms? The song ends. The girl's form changed into Sarah's at some point. It's as if the magic had been broken. I woke up from my dream and quietly left, as if getting out of bed. Well, we got to see that really early. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily early in the original game. You could do the SAR route first. You could start the game with the SAR route if you wanted to. It lets you do that, but earlier than you'd think this game would want you to learn it if it enforced you do the U route first. It might not, I don't know. I picked up the cans and bottles lying in the corridor and headed for the control room. I'm angry you. I'm home, I brought you a drink. Wow.
おかえり
Welcome home. You took the bottle of milk tea from me and opened the cap. I presume it is drinks with mouth, right? After taking a sip, she exhaled deeply. So, did you learn anything?
分かってきたわ
I'm starting to understand. Really? Isn't that great? It's like, I'm trying to understand that my mother was an absolute, or my mother, so-called, was an absolute lunatic.
よくないわ
She believed in really weird stuff. But she'd have direct revelation from that weird stuff. It's not good. Eh?
分かってきたのはろくでもないことばかり全く冗談じゃないわよ
I'm starting to understand. All I'm starting to understand is that it's nothing good. This is no joke at all.
これを見て。
Look at this. I looked at the various files on the monitor. There are various research materials as well as records and documents of some kind. There's also a list of people from various countries who had VIP written on them. What is this?
テーマパークレミューの運営母体。ライプリヒ製薬。
The theme park of Lemu's operating parent organization, Leiblich Pharmaceuticals, correct? The theme there's no more. It's just theme park of Lemu's operating parent company, Leipzig or Leiblich, one or the other. Oh, it's Leiblich Pharmaceuticals. The OCR just butchers it because the kanji for medicine is just really hard for it to capture, and which is the last kanji on this, and it makes that p into a b, but it's Leiblich Pharmaceuticals. I know it is.
世界的に有名な医療関係の企業よ。その裏に隠された闇の顔。いえ、化けの皮って言った方がいいかしら。
It's a world famous medical related company. The dark face hidden behind it. No, it might be better to call it the hide of a monster. But behind that lies a dark side. Or perhaps I should say a dark mask. Like an Oni. A dark face? Or a dark side? Or a dark mask?
そう。ライプリヒの副業の一端を示す資料よ。
Correct. It's a reference to the part of Leiblich's side quest. Side research.
人体実験、臓器移植は序の口ね。バイオエポンの研究開発や強化骨格、クローン人間、ES 細胞を応用した不老不死。研究のちゃんぽん鍋ね、まるで。
Human experimentation, organ transplants are just the beginning. Chemical weapons research and development, augmented skeletons, cloned humans, immortality that uses ES cells, research. What's Chapanabe? It's like a hot pot of research.
全部違法スレスレよ。違法ついでに人身売買や違法薬剤の取引なんかしてるみたいね。お前はイタリアのマフィアかっての。
I mean, someone has to research organ transplants. It's not all like China. It's not all communist China doing illicit stuff. Some of it's like pretty ethical. It's all illegal threads. Okay, but in this case, I guess it is. It looks like you're dealing in human trafficking. They're dealing in illegal human trafficking and illegal drugs. And something. Are you the Italian mafia? No, it's like. I get what it's trying. It's like oh my wa, which is kind of like a rude you, Italian mafia kata no. So I think you can say you could translate that as "Are you the Italian mafia?" But it's probably not. She's probably not accusing the kid of being the Italian mafia, right? They're also doing human trafficking, and it's all borderline illegal, is what Google Translate says. Although I don't know if it would be borderline as opposed to just over the line. illegal. They're also doing human trafficking and illegal drugs. Are you the Italian mafia?
さらに独自の諜報機関なんかも持ってるみたいね。産業スパイや利権を求めての紛争地帯への介入なんてこともしているみたい。
Furthermore, they seem to have their own intelligence agencies, like industrial spies, and intervening in war zones seeking interests.
まさしく神に背くような大罪の数々よ。
The word kami, I see it there. A variable number of deadly sins that a veritable number of deadly sins that disobey God. These are truly mortal sins that are against God. Although she doesn't say kami-sama, right? She says kami.
闇の商人。いえ、悪魔に魂を売ったというのもおこがましい。悪魔そのものの企業だわ。
It's presumptuous of me to say that they sold my soul to a dark merchant. No, to a demon. It is a corporation of the devil himself. Or is it presumptuous or is it not presumptuous? A dark merchant. No, it would be presumptuous to say that they sold their soul to the devil. It's a company made with the devil himself. Okay, I don't know. Presumptuous is kind of a negative connotation, so I don't know what's doing here. I would probably say it's not presumptuous if I'm trying to make a point, but whatever it says. She don't like them.
これじゃあレミューが海に沈むのも当然よ。神様じゃなくたって誰でも怒り出すわ。
Okay, there's the kami-sama. At this rate, it's only natural that Lemu would sink into the sea. Anyone would get angry even if they weren't God. It's natural for Lemu to sink into the sea?
ここにもあるのよ。今、私たちがいるレミューにもね。ライプリヒの研究施設が。
Yes, a paradise sank into the sea as a consequence of its sins, although the people who committed the sins aren't here. But oh well. It's symbolic. It's here too. Even the Lemu we're in right now has a research facility for demons.
奴らに天罰が下るのは当然よ。
It's only natural that they get divine punishment.
だけど、なんで私たちまで。
But why are we here too?
なんで私たちまで報いを受けなきゃいけないのよ。
Sacrifices must be made. Why do we have to be punished too?
まったく冗談じゃないわ。
Yeah, it's like, why does Lot's wife need to be turned into a pillar of salt? She was fine, wasn't she? She had like one thing wrong. One thing. Supposed the whole city of Sodom. This isn't a joke at all.
まったくこんな企業で一体何をしているのよ。
Honestly, what in the world are we doing in a company like this?
まったく。
My mom. Really, enough.
お母さん。
Mom, right. Okasan means mother. Muttering to herself, you closed your eyes. The affirmation trembles and I see something shining in my eyelids. What? Oh, it's the wrong kanji. Okay. That didn't help. Let's make it thinner. There we go. My shoulders are shaking and I can see something shining in my eyelids. You? As she trembled slightly, I hugged her tightly. Yes, not only is her mom a total whack job, but also works for that. Works for the mafia. She has a big hole to dig herself out of. I've got a lot of explaining to do because I couldn't say anything. I thought any attempt at consolation would hurt you.
ありがとう。
Thank you. I heard a small voice. Yu's trembling stopped at some point. Are you okay?
少年のおかげでちょっと落ち着いたかな。
Thanks to the boy, I think I've calmed down a little.
さてと、時間もないし、ちゃっちゃと続きを調べなくっちゃね。
Now then, we don't have much time, so let's hurry up and investigate the rest. Yeah, they're gonna be operating on no sleep. Oh yeah. Saying that, you slipped out of my hands. You're going to continue?
続けるわ。
I'll keep going.
たとえろくでもない情報ばかりだとしても、
Even if it's all useless information.
たとえお母さんがどんなひどい研究をしていたとしても、
No matter what terrible research my mother is doing.
だって何も知らない私は知らないことを知るためにここへ来たんだから。
I don't know anything. I came here to learn something I don't know.
最初の目的とは違ってきたけどね。
Though it's starting to differ from my original goal.
ほんとセレンディピティだわ。
Really, serendipity. You smiled as brightly as she could. Then she headed for the terminal again. You came here to investigate her father. But you knew that her father was dead. And then her mother. But I'm still looking for you. But you is still searching. And what you wanted to know, even after coming here, might actually be about her mother right now.
なんだろうこれ。
What is this? I'm just waiting for like the lore drop for them to like find something about the situation they're in right now. Looks like a blueprint. Oh, did they find the schematics for Android Sora already? We're gonna get a hint about that now? The monitor displayed the blueprints for some device. Looks like a pretty big deal. Hey, the initial is an ID card. Huh? These initials are... Oh, wrong kanji. This initial is the same as the ID card. Okay. YT. In the corner of the blueprint was a signature that said YT.
多分お母さんの研究に関係していると思うわ。
I think it's something to do with my mother's research. Yu's mother is Yuki Tanaka. But YT is Yoichi Tanaka. The initials are YT. This is something about Yoichi that Yoichi did. They don't realize it. Does it belong to your dead mother? Nope, dead father. Soretamo is still. Oh, besides Tomo though. Or what?
この設計図に付随するファイルはこれね。で、途中からか。
The file attached to these blueprints, is this, wait. Does it start partway through? What? Accelerator? Nuclear beam? Injection accumulating ring? Preparative acceleration up to 17 tera electron volts? What?
どうやら2つの円形のループ装置内で原子核を高速に加速させ、そして2つを衝突させるみたいね。
What kind of photon torpedo shooter was Yoichi coming up with here? Seems to be accelerating the nucleus to the speed of light within the two circular loop devices and then colliding the two. Okay, so it's just a particle accelerator.
で、
Simple.
なんですって？人工的に極小のビッグバンを起こし、人工ブラックホールを作成？
So what did it say? You're going to artificially create an extremely small number of black holes and create what? What? So what is it? An artificially tiny big bond. An artificial tiny Big Bang was created and an artificial black hole was created.
ブラックホールの周囲をエキゾチック物質で事象の地平線を固定し、重力の影響を抑える。
Artificial Big Bang. Oh, that's an expression. Using exotic materials to fix the black hole's periphery to the event horizon and suppress the effects of gravity.
そして人工ブラックホールを高速で回転させ、特異点を不規則にし、相転現象をで、ここで次のファイルか。
What does this have to do with anything? And then you rotate the artificial black hole at high speed, making the singularity irregular, causing a phase transition phenomena. Wait, here's the next file. You search for the next file. What does this have anything to do with the plot of Ever17? What's this about? However, it's hard to find a continuation of a file that hasn't been sorted by name.
まったくあの人はこんなところでもズボラなんだから。
Honestly, even a place like this, he's still a slob. What, Yoichi or Yuki? That guy is really lazy even in a place like this. Okay, we'll end here. We'll pick up next time talking about artificial black holes. Whatever's going on here. So that one was a bit messy. Oh well. That's not how that should have gone down.